it is. Alright, Hades Mega here, and guess what? The Black Widow Galant VR4 passed. Yeah. Alright, so anyway, alright, Hades Mega here. I'm having to reshoot this video for like privacy concerns, so I've kind of censored all the stuff that with information. But anyway, so yeah, this is the results for the smog check. I'm going over it again, so you guys can see how well the Galant did. I think smog checks is a good thing. It's good for the environment. If you've ever driven in like a third world country, and they don't have very good tight emissions requirements. They you can definitely smell the pollution and stuff. It's not a good thing. I remember back in the days when you could see the smog clouds in LA and stuff. So a lot of stuff is cleared up now, and like places like China, for example, is a example of why you should care about the smog check program. But anyway, it sucks for tuners, right? Car tuners. I believe even as long as whatever's coming out of the tailpipe is clean, then it's okay. Who cares? Like it's very smog is very strict in the California. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm not trying to circumvent the smog check system at all. I'm running a cat, and I'm doing all the, I got all the emissions components, the EGRs in there. Honestly, I hate EGR. It's the stupidest idea in the world to dump exhaust into your intake, because it just gums everything up. It's not a good idea. Don't do it. Anyway, so here are the results. We can go over. I'll go over more detail from the video. So let's start up here. It's a 91 Mitsubishi, and I've shown you my license plate in many videos. So there it is. But it says Galant VR4. The motor is a turbo, and it says all-wheel drive without traction control. So that's something interesting there. All-wheel drive without traction control. I'd imagine that if you had like an all-wheel drive that has the power mostly goes to like the front wheels or something, and then when it needs extra traction, it directs power to the back wheels. It's one of those systems, or something like a 4x4, where you can disengage the 4-wheel drive into 2-wheel drive. Then they could probably it would make a difference. But this is all-wheel drive, full-time all-wheel drive, so they can't smog it because they don't have a proper dyno. And they can't smog it the enhanced smog check. So here it is. They said the timing is 5 before top dead center. So I believe they did check it. I don't know if they did it properly, but that's what I set it at. And then there's a recall campaign sticker that they saw under the hood. They put all that stuff in there. So I guess at some point this was taken back to Mitsubishi for my car was taken to Mitsubishi for some kind of recall. They're always having some kind of recall. I noticed even my 2G NT my 2G NT Eclipse, my Eclipse RS had one of these stickers saying they updated the ECU or something, and that's what I think this is. They have something with the ECU. So yeah. There it is. It cost me $75 for a smog check, if you ask me. Well, actually, I think that's an okay price. The older cars like before OBD2, they need to do extra checks. Like they check the evap canister and everything, and the timing, and they have to do more work. So that's why it costs more on older cars. Newer cars, you kind of just plug the OBD2 thing into the machine, and then that's it pretty much. So alright, here we go. So model year 91. There's my license plate again. I got almost 151,000 miles. Fuel type gasoline. Sometimes I smog it with E85, my Eclipse. Interesting to note, I passed smog with E85, so it is doable. It's a Mitsubishi make, California car. Is it? I don't know if it's a California car or a federal car. There's two kinds of cars, federal and California, and this is probably a California car, I guess. There's some kind of sticker you can find somewhere that says that, but whatever. It's a passenger car. They didn't test the weight. That's interesting. Normally they didn't touch the dyno at all. So the way I saw it was kind of like an old school smog check is what it was. They just they didn't weigh the car. They didn't put it on the dyno, and they just did a two speed in neutral. They tested it at 2 different RPMs. So, and it was a manual, 4 cylinders, and I don't know what that record is. And it says for change of ownership, but I've already owned the car for a while. And so there it is. So this is the stuff for the visual inspection. This is the stuff they check. So they make sure you have a PCV valve, a catalytic converter, EGR visual, EGR functional. So I guess that's when they get the little vacuum pump and they see if it works, because it should like stall the engine. Fuel cap functional, fuel cap visual, spark controls, thermostatic air cleaner, air injection. So I don't have any of that stuff. I think if you look at an old RX-7 or something, they have an air injection thing that pumps air into the exhaust or something to clean the thing. Vacuum lines to sensors and switches. Pass. Vacuum lines to sensors and switches. So that's a kind of it's kind of sketchy one on my car. Only because I'm not using the stock boost control solenoid, but honestly the turbo system doesn't really have much to do with emissions. Yeah, not really. As long as all the the piping is like secure properly, Anyway, ignition timing pass, wiring to sensors pass, fill pipe restrictor. I don't know what the hell that is, but I don't have it. Evap controls, fuel evaporative controls functional. That's when they check the evap canister. They're going to check if it's there and if it works. So fuel evaporative controls, OBD system checks. I don't think that you can hook a OBD up to this. So carb fuel injection, other emissions related components. So basically what the visual check is just to make sure all this stuff is there and it's functioning properly, type thing. And I'm sure like for older cars they're probably a little more lenient on it because they're old, and to keep them running you have to buy aftermarket parts. So these are the results. This is the important part here. Haha. So if you notice here, there's no NOx. They don't test for NOx because I guess you have to be on a treadmill for something like that. So that's good. That's already one test. One of the gases that you don't have to be tested for. So well, I could say you could take your EGR out now, but it's still you're going to fail the visual if you take the EGR out. So here we got it's a 2-speed. I don't know why they call it a 2-speed idle test because it's in neutral. It's not idle. But anyway, one of the tests is at idle, about like 800 RPM. You see there, and then the 2500 RPM, and they kind of give you like a range that you can do the car at, And then so it measured 14.9% and 14.8 for CO2. I think that's normal. I think it should be like 14. That means your catalytic converter is operating properly. O2 is the oxygen measured in the gas in your exhaust. So I think if you have no oxygen Yeah. Okay. So I kind of looked it up on the internet. If you have a lot of oxygen in your if you have oxygen in your exhaust, that means not enough air, not enough oxygen was exhausted. It wasn't burnt. So you can have like extra. I think that's what it is. I'm not too sure, but don't quote me on that. But I think it's good if there's no oxygen in there. That means all the oxygen was burnt, and if your air fuel ratio is proper, that means you're not running rich. There's nothing extra coming out of your tailpipe. Is what it is. So it's a good combustion. Anyway, so hydrocarbons. I measured 19 and 17 out of a max of 120 and 140, and the average is 29 and 20. So we're below average. Pretty good, and we have a big buffer to get to fail. For carbon monoxide, it measured pretty much nothing, 0.01% to 0.03% on the second test, and 1% is like the max, and the average is 0.1. So we like knocked that one out of the park. Yeah. And that's it. That's all they test. So the test was pretty easy. The Eclipse is a little more involved because it's a front wheel drive. Man, I know. I wish I'd bought the GSX. This test is so much easier to pass. At least I think. My Eclipse almost had like some higher readings this year. I don't know why. So there must be something up with it. But the good thing about a smog test is if you pass pretty good, that means the state of tune of your car is pretty good. That means it's running properly. So that's a good thing about a smog test. If you pass it, then your car is running properly. But still, your car could be running good, and it could still be polluting too. So it's not 100% indicator that your car is running properly. So there it is. Those are the results, and then back to my. Now it's time to go pay the registration fees. But good job, Black Widow Galant VR4. That's like, man, I'm telling you, dude. I was so worried that it would not pass because I didn't hook a hose up properly, or just some stupid shit, and then it'd be like, well, I don't really know what to do. The only thing I would know what to do. I mean, the only way to make it better is to change the oxygen sensor to a newer one, or change the catalytic converter to a newer one. And I wouldn't mind the oxygen sensor, but the catalytic converter is an expensive piece of equipment, man. And with these old cars like this, the catalytic converter, these cars getting up in the miles, they need new cats. That's the only way to get on the pass, because the old cat is. It's old. It's a lot of miles on it. So the good thing about this car is it's so low, it's going to be very hard to steal a catalytic converter on this car. Okay, funny story. I have my Toyota Previa, which is the same year as this. Somebody had stolen the cat off of it. I parked it in some shady place like overnight. Well, I parked it at work overnight, and then I started up one day, and I noticed it was very loud, and I was like, oh, what happened? Like, my catalytic converter got stolen. Shit, dude. And the Toyota Previa is a pretty tall van. It's almost like a pickup truck height, and so yeah, it was pretty easy to steal the cat. So yeah, I had to drive the rest of the day with a very loud Toyota Previa. It sucked, man. It's like you're just driving around, you're looking around, you're like, man, people are like looking at me and stuff. And I was like, yeah, sorry. It is really annoying having a super loud car. I have cars with exhaust and stuff, and I don't mind how they sound, but yeah, when you're running just an open pipe, dude, it is freaking loud. It's obnoxiously loud. But anyway, so yeah, it passed. I'm glad. I've decided to keep this car for another 2 years. Like I said in my update vlog, it passed smog now, and then so I know it's good to go, and it's got the super stealth intake. Now I can take that can off. I can leave it on there, or I can take it off. It doesn't really matter to me.
the overall, I think the overall theme of the build on this Galant VR4 will be stealth. You know, it's black and stealthy, and stealth and sleeper, right? So so it's just like yeah, you know, it's sleeper. You know, you can't tell it's a badass homologated rally car, and um, it's, you know, it's stealth. You know, it passes smog. So, but like I said, that's my method of tuning. If for a street car, I'm gonna put as many mods on it as I can, but still get it to pass smog without cheating at all. You know, technically I didn't really cheat. Honestly, if there's anything to gig me for on the visual, is I don't have the stock manual boost controller on. It's I have a manual boost controller. Not this. What did they call it? It's called a it's something boost. Oh, it's a BCS, boost control solenoid is what it's called. Yeah, they took you. Obviously, you have to bypass that to use a manual boost control, and that is actually in the vacuum diagram for the car. So if anything is modified from stock, then you could potentially fail. So that, I mean, if I were to take it to a ref and they saw that, it would probably fail. But they kind of overlooked it. But it's not. Honestly, it's not a big deal. But yeah, another issue would have been the hard piping. There's a lot of hard piping on that car. Like, let's face it, man. The Galant VR4 intake system is a piece of shit. Go watch my intake video. Yeah, go watch my intake video when I was making the intake for this car, so it would do the smog check, and you will see that the intake system is it's a series of 90-degree bends and stuff. It is freaking horrible. I will take the Eclipse intake over the Galant VR4's intake any day. But yeah, so
Hey,
I'm
sorry,
happy
my camera ran out of juice, so I gotta use my phone now. So anyway, yeah, so I'm really happy with the way the smog results went. Maybe it's just the two-speed idle tests. The two-speed idle tests makes it better. Makes it easier to pass. Because I have a buddy with a GSX, a 2G GSX, and he's got like a boatload of mods on it, and like I guess he knows somebody or something, but it passes with like cams and shit. The 4G63 is a clean engine. It's known to pass smog even with like mods on it, you know, like cams and stuff. So which is not the case for the 420A for the second gen non-turbo. I had a hell of a time getting that car to pass smog. It was not a clean car at all. I could not get it to pass with the turbo kit, and I had to put all the stock shit back on to get it to pass. You know, and they would smog it too. So shit. Anyway, so yeah. It passed smog. And it passed smog very well. It's a testament to the work I did on the car. That's why I'm very happy. It's like I'm very happy about the with the results, and like I know I put the car back together. I mean, the engine is practically new. It has a new you know, for refurbished head. It has a new timing belt, new water pump. I cleaned the EGR. I cleaned all the EGR ports on this. You can go check that video out on my repair playlist. I cleaned out a lot of goop out of that intake. But it had passed smog before. But like I said, I don't know if I put the car back together properly, and well, I guess I did. So it passes. So you know what that means. It's time to do the mods. It's time to put the mods on the car. Anyway, so yeah, what I got, like I said, look at my update vlog to see what I have planned for this car. But basically, it's going to be bigger injectors. I'm going to put some Evo injectors on this. They're basically reliability mods. Right now, I would feel sketchy about pushing the car to its limit because the engine may blow up. It may be running lean. So anyway, it's Evo injectors, chip to compensate for the injectors, and a 3G mass. I may put that in. If you look at my intake vlog, we kind of looked at it, and I was like,
Oh, it fits in there pretty good, and it really does look stock. So so I may give it a go. I had a guy burn some chips for me for this through like I think it's Ostrich or something, and then yeah, so we're gonna get that with the chip installed, so it can compensate for all that stuff. And then a fuel pump. I have a 190 liters per hour fuel pump to put in, and what else? And then exhaust. I won a stainless steel downpipe. I think it's a 3. Most of it is 3 inches, and yeah, it's for an Eclipse, but it's stainless steel. Most of it's 3 inches. Obviously, it necks down so you can bolt it on. But like the piping on this car is kind of old and rusty, so I think it's probably a good time to change it. So the mid pipe section after the catback, basically the catback piping, I'm gonna replace with 3-inch piping, and then I'll probably paint it black or something. And then but I'm gonna keep the stock muffler. I'm just gonna try to get the stock muffler to flow as much as possible. I know it's gonna be a big what's the word I'm looking for? Restriction. It's a big restriction. So yeah. But yeah, so and then those are the plans for this car, and then after that it's just maintain it. But I want it to be able to run 14, maybe like 16, 17, 18 psi. I want it to run 14 to 18 psi reliably, but I don't have wideband O2, and I don't plan to put one. I have one. I was gonna put it, but I was like, it's a lot of work to put it in. Maybe we'll take it to a dyno, and then we'll dyno it at 14, and then hopefully they'll have a AFR probe in there, so I can check my AFRs, and then we'll just keep on increasing the boost until the AFRs go, like, oh, your engine's gonna melt, type of thing. But anyway, yeah. So I'm glad it passed. It's a testament to the quality of my work. It is good. Hazelberger has done good in this car so far. I hope the Galant will be kind to me, because things are breaking left and right. Also, the suspension, I have to address the shitty suspension. I was driving it on the freeway today, and it was just flopping all over the place. I can feel it. It'll hit the bump stop, boom, and it'll just it'll catch some air, and then it'll go again, and like that is a no-go. I do not like that at all. I don't know why it's bottoming out like that. It could be because it's too low. So I'm gonna raise it up. I don't mind driving it this low. I do mind a little bit. I do mind because I may high center the car, because this car is so long. But yeah. So yeah. Anyway, this is beside the point. I passed Smog. Hey, it's my guy. You didn't know? I'm rocking the Xeon shirt, Principality of Xeon shirt today. Sig Xeon, right? And then to celebrate, I got these Monakas. They were on sale at the Japanese supermarket. I love these. 99 cents. So I was like, oh, I bought a bunch of them, and I bought a bento. Good stuff. All right. Here's my gal.